Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is doing fantastic here. We have a good friend of mine, Andrew Houghton, here. He is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist. In fact, we graduated with the Neuroencoding Institute the same day, which is fantastic. He's a mindset life coach. He's also the founder of the Extraordinary Men's Network, which is fantastic. So he's also are you currently a professor?
Yeah, I'm in my 15th year at a women's university in Seoul, South Korea.
Yeah, so Seoul, South Korea. So this man gets up and does what he does for his coaching company and so on at hours that normal human beings would not be able to do. I'm just saying. So welcome, Andrew. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, well, I survive and thrive at 2 a.m. most days. I'm blessed with 3 amazing children. I have a teenage stepson and 2 little baby girls. And yeah, I live in Seoul. I've been here 20 years. I came here as a fresh-faced, I look back at photos and I was like, man, who is that boy?
Isn't that crazy?
What was he doing at 23 coming over to South Korea? Knew nothing about life.
It's crazy when we do that and we look back and it's like, who was I then? It was such a different world.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure we're going to get into these kind of conversations, but I look at the picture and I think, what was in that guy's mind at that time? Like the crap I was thinking about myself and what I was and what I could or couldn't do and all that stuff. Like it all comes kind of flooding back when I see those old photos, and it's quite bizarre. But yeah, I've been here a long time and gone through quite a lot of life changes in that time. Yeah. I am an English language professor at a university in Seoul. I'm also a life coach, as you said. My focus is on men's mindsets.
Perfect. Well, that kind of leads us right into where we need to go right there. Okay. So, we're going to talk about things, especially middle-aged men and feeling stuck, but keep in mind, a lot of these tools and things we're going to discuss, it's a lot of mindset, right? So it's not just going to be for middle-aged men by any means who, need to go buy the Mustang or whatever the case may be, if you will. But it's the human condition that, whether you're whatever middle age is nowadays, I don't even know. But it's really a lot to do also with just, again, that mindset. And you could have it at 15, you could have it at 30, you could have it at 85. It just depends on the person and what they're going through and their thoughts.
Yeah,
my wife's got Corvette.
I know, it's like put in some juice in the Red Dragon, baby. It is. And when you say middle-aged, you said it a couple of times. Every time you said it, I cringed a little bit. It's like, I'm not middle-aged, bro. Like middle-aged, but I am. I absolutely, in my 40s, mid-40s. That's the classic. When my dad was my age, he was going out buying silk shirts and trying to get into nightclubs he had no business going to. And, it's like, I'm just starting a family. Like, I feel like my middle age is going to kick in when I'm 60. That's what I think.
Or 70, yeah.
That's just a trajectory my life's taken me. But yeah, midlife, the crisis or the quarter life crisis or whatever you're facing, it's a real thing, and it's a real challenge that we have to admit and accept and face.
Absolutely. And honestly, I've been through different times in my life, where am I going through that? I mean, I've had 5 Mustangs, so I can't really say as I went out and got another Mustang. But it's at 30, at 40, I'm 52 now. But I just you get in a little bit of a funk or feel stuck, but I don't know if it's a middle-aged thing. I think it's, for me anyway, it's more of just a life thing. I've not went and said, oh man, I'm middle-aged, I'm halfway through my life and I've not accomplished enough, or I've not done. So what do you think the mindset is for people that go into that? And maybe you're going to say something and I'm be like, oh shit, I did do that.
I'm already thinking that, actually. I'm thinking, oh, I am in my midlife crisis. I am in my midlife crisis. But I feel like we don't live the average life like we think we do, right? We see our own life, we see our own past, and at least I feel like I assume this is what people do and this is how people live their life. However, everyone I know, well, no, let's not say everyone, let's say like 90% of everyone I know from my childhood stayed in my childhood town. And they would be having their midlife crisis now, I guess, by traditional standards, having left the UK and coming over to South Korea. And then, to be frank, it was pretty much like freshman week university for like 10 years. Because you're doing the teaching job, you're getting a salary, but it's not a very, you can take it seriously if you want to, but for most of the people out here, it's just like you're getting paid to hang out and have fun. And then you finish work and then it's more fun and more hanging out. And it kind of delayed. It's like, I don't know, delayed puberty or something. Like you just stayed a child for a lot longer than most people would. Like, I don't know, most of my friends didn't get married until their 40s, for example, whereas back home, everyone was married in their early 20s.
Right, yeah. So, and I'm going to just say this, don't ever grow up.
Yeah, right.
keep that mindset as much as you can.
My nephew has a sign on his wall that says, don't grow up, it's a trap.
I love that. I think that should be a tattoo. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Definitely a bumper sticker.
Definitely a bumper sticker. Yeah.
So when you feel, whether it be let's get out of the midlife crisis scenario. Let's just talk about being stuck or in a rut, because at whatever age that is. That fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that feel like or look like for the average person? I know this is your specialty. So, what is that? What are some of the signs? So if people are feeling that, they can maybe say, oh, you know what? I need to talk to Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, the word that rhymes with stuck is suck, right? If it sucks, you feel like, I've heard it living in the land of suck, basically. And for me, at least, it was waking up in the morning every day and just that deep in, God, here we go again. Like, I'm not even like the idea that you wake up going, another day. Like, no, it's the exact opposite. It's like, oh, another day. Like, why? Oh, can I not sleep more? And there are days where, morning doesn't happen. You don't get out of bed till the afternoon, and that's because you have to, because the baby, well, no, that'll happen later, but I get out of bed when the baby cries. Don't want to give the wrong impression. I get confused. But you get hungry, so you go to the bathroom, so you got to get up. But it's essentially you have no motivation to do anything. Like, even the things that used to be fun, binge watching Netflix and eating ice cream and ordering pizza, you don't even want to do that. Like, that's how sucky, that's how stuck you are in this world of, I don't want to do anything. I want to be a part of it. Nothing inspires me. Nothing motivates me.
Yeah.
Nothing I don't get enjoyment from things.
So it literally sounds like a depression to some extent.
It is.
If you're not wanting to get out of bed, I'd say it's a major depression. But just the idea of rinse and repeat, crap, this sucks, as you say,
Yes.
it sounds like a form of depression, whether
Yeah.
it be mild or severe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm apprehensive about using that word because I'm not a doctor, and even though I have my dual certification in coaching, it is not a license for me to prescribe anything. So, like, to say it's depression, that's not for me to say. It's definitely
That's
a
fair.
it's a deep sadness. Would some cute cattens? What's a catten? It's a half kid and half cat. A kitten playing the piano might get you out of it. Who knows? But it is definitely a very, very morose situation to be in. That's for sure.
Okay, and that's fair. On the depression thing. I think the general standard, or what we would say as general public, we would consider that, that is why I went there, so people understand. Totally understand. None of us are, well, I shouldn't say none of us. There are some doctors we've had and so on, but
Yeah.
we're not psychologists, therapists, or psychologists and so on, psychiatrists, etc. So, let me go back. So when you get in the funk, the rut, stuck, how does that, from your experience or your clients, et cetera, and please don't say names, obviously, but how does that, or what have you seen as far as that affecting the rest of the family? With veterans and so on, we want to really have that discussion, whether it's be the veteran that just got back, or the wife or husband that's been home, the spouse that's been dealing with the home front. And there's a lot of times there's not the connections that when they first come back, because you've grown into two different people. So what are some of the things that when that veteran or that spouse just is stuck?
Yeah.
What does that look like from your experience?
I mean, first, it's tremendously painful, right? It's painful for all involved. For some people, it does feel like you've moved on. For other people, it's like there was a time pause, and then something's like someone's pressed play again, and you expect things to be exactly the way they were, and they're not. And that can cause disappointment and frustration. But it is a painful place to be, because nobody wants to be there, right? Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be confident and sure with what they're doing and why they're doing it. At least I believe that's what people want. Debate me.
No, I'm not going to. I think that's what people need. I'll even go with to feel like they're moving forward and progressing in life. I think that in order to be happy, that's what you literally need. So when you don't have it, I think you definitely want it. I think you're spot on right there.
Yeah. So in terms of my experience, and to somewhat clients as well, it's the biggest thing that's affected is self-esteem and confidence. So when you don't know your place and you don't know where you're going, you begin. One word that gets used is victimhood, right? You start blaming yourself, and that manifests a lot of different things. A big one being blame and resentment.
Yes.
Right. So you blame yourself, or you blame the other person for not understanding you. Like, don't you know what I've done? Don't you know what I did? Like, ignoring the fact of like what they were doing while you were you were doing your thing. They were doing their thing too. And nothing good ever comes out of two people blaming each other at the same time. And I think that's the biggest part, is the loss of self-worth, low self-esteem. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And I love the way you put it. Honestly, I think you absolutely nailed it. And when, as we know, as neuroencoders, when you start getting into those kinds of things, anytime you're in that rut and you don't want to get out of bed, what happens? You start that self-loathing, like you said, resenting. You get into all the thieves of your dreams, the procrastination, the hesitation, all of those things. So I think it's a fantastic point that you bring. So if I can, what are some steps or some thoughts when you're there and you realize you have that oh shit moment, I call it, or aha moment
Mhm.
of, oh crap, this is where I'm at and I don't like it. Obviously you have to get leverage over yourself, but what are some steps to, let me be more clear. You need to get leverage over yourself to make real change.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
what are some steps or some thoughts on that to break the cycle when you have the realization?
Yeah, I mean, the key word you're saying there is having the realization, the oh shit moment, the aha. It's having awareness of it's you, right? Acknowledging ownership, if you like. I heard a great. It was offered as a quote, and even the person who quoted it couldn't exactly remember where they quoted it. So I'm quoting somebody who doesn't know who they're quoting, but either way, it sounded good to me. And it was something like resentment is feeling like someone is ruining your life, and and guess what? It's you.
You.
And that, I feel like, is the first step, is knowing that you are the one who is kind of living this, doing this, creating this, and that's when you can start to take different action steps, or starting to shift maybe the mindset, because otherwise you're just looking for other people to do something and blaming other people. And so
Absolutely.
the first step is acknowledgement and ownership.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that. You're never going to grow as a person if you're blaming everybody else. Number one. Number two is look in the mirror, because if you're frustrated, it's generally something you can control, whether it be your thoughts, your actions, or something. Because let me share the secret. I'm going to get in the audience's face just a little bit. You can't change other people. You can only change yourself and your thoughts. All right.
And your podcast is called Your Thoughts, Your Reality.
Weird.
That's clever. Yeah, it's almost like your thoughts couldn't create your reality. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
So what are some steps that when you're in it and you go, oh shit, or oh man, I'm here, but I don't like it. So what are some initial thoughts or steps that you tell your client, or you use yourself, right? Because we're neuroencoders. We don't teach theory. We do these things ourselves. What are some initial things that you, tips that you, or coaching things that you give to your clients or use yourself?
So let's assume, let's set a foundation that, okay, we've had that awareness, right? That we're in the land of suck. And then we also have the awareness that I need to acknowledge this is me. This is my reality. This is, I created this in a sense. I'm responsible for this, or I'm responsible for how this goes moving forward, right? In that case, there's a couple of different paths. They crisscross, but I would say discussing the kind of human, it's the psychology, I guess, behind it, like your thoughts, your reality, but where do thoughts lead to, right? So just having a discussion about, okay, so you're thinking these things, right? You're thinking about you're in the land of suck. You're thinking that life is terrible, unfair, or your wife is this, or your husband is that, or your children. You're thinking, okay, well, what does that lead to, right? And not to give the game away, but
give the game away. Go ahead.
All right, thinking leads to feeling, right?
Yes.
And we have a little poem that as we think, so we feel, right? And that's a really powerful tool. It sounds simple, and it is. It's just not so easy to recall it when you're going through a thought pattern of, like blaming yourself or blaming somebody else, getting angry. That's the emotion part. But the thought will always come first, and then it'll trigger a feeling.
And can I just add something really quick? So something that I use a lot of the times, if I feel icky, I feel angsty, I feel crappy, that's my check mark of what am I thinking?
Exactly. Yeah.
And is it real? I mean, is it going to matter in 6 months? Is this a real thing, or just my mind going?
That's right.
So that's my trigger to know.
That's the next step. Yeah. So you notice the feeling, And then I ask my clients to keep a feeling / thought journal. So they write down the feeling they had, and then as quickly as possible, they try to analyze, well, what was the thought I had prior, right? So then they have a list of feelings and triggers. Essentially, that's what they'll end up having is, and then they can go back. And then as coaching progresses, you can start work on those thoughts, right? You can start, okay, that's not the thought you want because it creates that feeling. What's the feeling you want to have? Okay, what do I need to believe or what do I need to think to feel that way? And we've all had all feelings, right? By our age, we've had hopefully at least the plethora of feelings that are available to us as humans. And
Andrew, really quick, can you just explain some of those feelings, or just talk about, just so that people understand what you mean by feelings?
So the feelings, feeling happy, feeling elated, feeling excited, feeling passionate, feeling love and gratitude, right? Those are the good feelings that we want, as opposed to the frustration, the anger, the judgment, the criticism, the doubt, the uncertainty. When you're in those feelings, and it's not always opposite, right? The opposite of uncertainty is certainty, but that's not necessarily what you want. You watch a movie because you want uncertainty, right? But when you're on your way to work and you're uncertain about what your boss is going to say to you because it's a Monday and, well, Mondays suck, whatever, then what feeling do you want? Well, it's not certainty, it's excitement, or it's anticipation, like a joyous anticipation. So it's not always opposites, but it is a question of acknowledging or owning how do you want to feel, and then asking yourself, what do I need to think for that to be true, for that
absolutely love it. Thank you. And it's the emotions, really. I mean, and you nailed that list, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
you nailed all the big ones, that's for sure. So thank you. So so we have those feelings, and then please continue, if you will.
Yeah. So I mean, one thing you said, the E word, the emotions, and for me, with my clients, I try to also distinguish with them, like, your emotions. And please correct me in the comments if I'm getting these the wrong way around. It's pretty early / late for me. But I believe the correct way is your emotions are physical. They are a reaction to something. So fear is your emotion. And then your feeling is to be like scared or excited about attacking or defending or running away. Right. So you're going to have your emotions whether you like it or not. That's just part of being human. Unless you're a sociopath, I suppose, but hopefully not. So
should we talk about that?
No, let's next time. Right. I'm not qualified yet for that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, and from what I've heard, the science says that you have about 90 seconds to run through that emotion, and then it's, whether you believe it or not, it's a choice to maintain it or shift. Yep. So you get that feeling, you sit in it, ideally, don't react, right? Acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling pretty pissed off right now.
We'll wait. Go ahead.
90 seconds, right? And then, do I want to feel this? No. How do I want to feel? I want to feel curious. Like, why is this person not moving when it's a green light? I wonder if they're having a family problem. I wonder if they're having a breakdown. I should get out my car and knock on the window, be like, you okay, buddy? I don't know, like, get curious instead of frustrated, right? That after that 90 seconds, you get to then make choices. And I think choices is possibly a segue into what we're going to talk about next, but
well, I mean, still go for it. So yeah, be curious, not critical. Absolutely. Because it changes the game, right? Absolutely. Yeah, so great point. And thank you for bringing up all that strategic information, really, for how to get out of that funk and how to get there. So, hey, let's talk about choices, shall we?
That's a great idea. Choice. Like, is life a choice? I believe it is. I believe everything, whether you're a determinist or not, no matter your philosophy, I believe that we're always at turning points. We're always at crossroads, and whether you're going to end up at the same place or not. There's different ways to get there. And when you are in a negative emotion, you get to run it through, and then you get to make a choice of how you want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe knowing that is possibly even the pinnacle, the most essential thing to know, is that you do have a choice in all aspects of your life.
You wake up in the morning, you have a choice whether you're going to wake up and have a good day or sit there in bed and eat Snickers and watch Game of Thrones.
And that could be the best day of your life, to be honest. Like,
don't know until you do it, right? But that's it, right? It's all about choices. Just like I use all the time, the veteran that comes out of the military and his definitions that he's given his service compared to another veteran, and the choices, and that's a choice, right? That definition of what has happened is that choice, and they go in totally opposite directions.
Yeah,
and that's everybody, not just veterans.
It reminds me of another saying. I think it came from the Institute, that nothing has meaning apart from the meaning you give it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't give meaning to something, then somebody else will put a meaning on it for you, right? And just, again, and like I'm very wary of not speaking at veterans, and we are speaking to the veterans, and I hope what I say is helpful. But it is, for civilian life, it is putting the right meaning on what I'm doing, right? It is making the choice to say what I'm doing right now is helpful. What I'm doing right now is earnest, and
yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise somebody else will put a meaning on it for me and be like, no, what you're doing is hurtful and harmful and you're an asshole. And I'm like, well, I guess that's true, because I'm not putting any opinion on it, so I'm going to believe what they say.
Right.
Creating identity.
Perception.
Yeah.
I think it's perception of each person, right? So let me. We're getting close to the end of the show. This has been fantastic.
Really?
Thank you, Andrew.
Time is flown. Sorry. Yeah.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun, brother.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd like to first of all, a couple of tips. I always do 3 tips. This is our thing. 3 tips to get veterans, their families, further faster, just when they're stuck. And I know we've been through some. Feel free to reuse and just recap. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But 3 tips.
Go through the process of acknowledging what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. I would say do the feeling journal. So that can be counted as 2 steps, I suppose. Acknowledge the feeling that you're having, and then in time, as in step by step, find the thought you had that triggered that feeling. Mm-hmm. So acknowledge your feelings, sit in it. Bear in mind that you have choice after that 90 seconds to 2 minutes, that you naturally have to sit in that feeling, that you can't control that part. But there's a point in time where you start to realize, like, oh, do I have to feel this way? And then think of the thought that triggered that, and then ask yourself, is this what I want to think? What can I think differently? How can I think differently? And then the third thing, which we didn't really get into, is identity. Who do you want to be? Ask yourself, like, when you say in the morning, do I want to eat Snickers and lie in bed all day watching Game of Thrones, or do I want to go and exercise and climb a mountain? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the happy guy? Do you want to be the sad guy? And then you can start work on that.
That's excellent.
Make a decision on who you are and who you want to be. The past can't be undone, but the future is unwritten. So make a decision.
Amen. Don't look in the rearview mirror. You're going to crash. Look out front. Love it, man. So Andrew, people feeling stuck, age regardless, how do the people reach you if they want to reach out?
Search. You can find me with Andrew Michael Houghton on Facebook. I also go by OG Coach, Ordinary Guy Coach. I coach ordinary guys to live extraordinary lives. And recently I've created the Extraordinary Men's Network, which is a Facebook community for men.
Excellent.
So all of those ways.
And if you will, tell us just really quickly, in 10, 15 seconds, if you can, a little bit more about that Facebook group. Yeah, it's okay if we run longer. It's okay.
It's pretty much about what we've been talking about. It's for guys who are in the suckiness, who are trying to get out of it. And it's for the guys who have that service kind of leadership mindset where they want to help. They've been through it. They've been through the struggles. They're surviving and thriving now, and they want to give back and share. And it's a safe space. So it's for men, not because we don't like women. We love women, most of us. It's a safe space for men to talk about the struggles and troubles that they might feel just a little bit too vulnerable to share with, their mom, their aunt, their sister, because, social media, things spread like wildfire. So this is a community that's closed where people can share what's on their heart and get help when they need it, create community. Communities helped my life immensely. Like, I wouldn't have been able to make the changes that I've made in my life without having a community of people who resonate both with what I'm saying, and even more so when I first heard someone tell my story and I was like, how did you read my diary? Like, how do you know what I've been through? Like, when I first heard that, and I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it, because it's life-changing. Like, to know that you're not the only one going through what you're going through, and that they've come out the other side. It's
absolutely,
it could be life-changing.
Fantastic. And again, I'm going to go back to veterans here. So when veterans get out and they lose that camaraderie, there's more things out there, support now than there, probably ever has been with Facebook and those kinds of things. So, get into those groups, whether you're a veteran or, a family member, get into those groups, keep that connection. We have 2 groups ourselves for veterans and veterans families. Get in there and just talk, be vulnerable. It's a loving space where, we're there for each other. So please get in there. So thank you, Andrew. You've been amazing, my friend. Insightful as hell. Appreciate you. So I like to say, I say it every day, or every podcast, I should say, is, as human beings, time is the most precious resource we have. We don't get it back. And thank you for spending going on 33 minutes on camera here to help veterans and families and people in general. So thank you. It's been an honor.
My pleasure, Michael. Thank you so much for having me and letting me share my thoughts and my reality.
Dun dun. Weird how that works. So I just want everybody to check out the QR code, blue QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Scan that. There's all kinds of resources at Empower Performance Strategies. There's free ebooks. There are, again, resource page. There's trainings. There's all kinds of stuff. So reach out. Don't sit in the corner. Make a change today. All right. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate you. We'll have you back on, my friend.
Thank you very much, Michael.
All right. We are out of here.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.